Hi, Bo here from High Tech Investment, and welcome back to the channel where we, again, this particular week have our new series the new series about the top 10 profit retriever results. We started this last week and we got quite a good feedback on this, on exactly how you can pick and choose the individual signals that we actually trade ourselves and also have within the coupling service for Expert4X. This week we have gotten to week 15 here. We're going to have a closer look, not only at the top 5 that we always post, and we normally post that over the weekend, and also this particular video here is also being released over the weekend. It would normally be on a Sunday, depending on how everything goes for us. We still have to also adapt our family, friends, and everybody else into this particular equation, but obviously it's very important for us to get the video out in decent time so you can be ready for the next week of trading. Now, the first part we're going to have a look at is the top 5, so for week 15, and that is a bit upside down because this particular week has been a terrible week, very low basically trading all the way around for most of the EAs. As you can see, we have the FTSE 100, and that's actually at the top, which has never been here before, but it's done $510 or 5.1%, which is absolutely excellent, of course. But we are used to a lot more. If we look at the US 30, the second number we have in here, we have a couple of different ones trading the same index. 431, it did quite well, and the price went up within the US 30 index here. We have 4.3%, so that was also very good results overall. Aussie USD, $214 or 2.1%, and then British pounds USD, also number 2 here, $212 and 2.1%. And then we have the New Zealand USD, $123, 1.2%, overall $1,489 or 3%. So definitely this is low compared to what you have seen before and what we have been used to for the past year. But this has been a couple of special weeks with the financial markets going in different directions. Not only our signals are currently a bit down, we can also see that Alex made a video in the past week of about 50 of his signals, and I also had a bit of a communication with him during the week, where again mentions here that a lot of his signals is also currently down, and he's now looking into a couple of changes in the future for some of these coupling services itself to make sure they are a bit more safe. And now when we speak about safe, again, risk disclaimer here, because this is not trading advice, this is not investment advice, this is simply presentation of the data and the details and the trading that we have done. Everything, as always, is available to you, and we try to give you the best opportunities to figure out what is what about the profit retriever, because there's many good things about it, but there is definitely also drawdowns within it, and they are currently in heavy drawdowns, a couple of the index and metals here, and other ones are simply just in limbo, also down by some of them a lot less than $1,000, but a few of them are going up into between 4,000 or 5,000, so, and definitely some even higher. But as we have mentioned here before, if you go to our website itself and you have a look at our portfolio setup, I know that Expert4X continues to mention here that the minimum is $10,000, and we also say the minimum is definitely 10, because we are trying to set up all our EAs like they are running on $10,000. And on top of this, we know from time to time then the market will play tricks on us. There's no doubt about it. We have seen it in the past and also here now again. This is most probably the heaviest drawdown we had in more than a year. And that tells you quite a bit that normally the profit retriever is quite stable. It is cashing in. We are not crashing any of our accounts right now, but definitely if it continues like this, there will be more mischief coming in the future. Now, if we just have a look at it again, we always recommend, especially when you are trading, so on metals and indexes, that you use somewhere around the $30,000 account or 300 on the cent account. And similar to what we have on the Forex currencies, we encourage you to put an extra $100 on. So you are trading $200 with the cent accounts or $20,000. We know that's going to take away some of the profits but especially this particular time, showing us that you have to be very cautious, you have to be very careful on how this pans out. So let's have a look at the top 10 accounts here for this particular week. As usual, we go 4 weeks back. So that means that week 15, 14, 13, and 12 is part of this Excel for this particular week. And again, we start on the left. So where we have all the different indexes, metals, currencies, you find them over here. Then we have our individual links. This is basically what they are linked up to on FX Blue. And on top of this, we then have the individual data added into every single column. And then we have the total sum over here. And again, in a percentage on top of this. Now, the best one in the last 4 weeks, and we actually also, maybe I should mention this, we have a couple of color codings that we didn't have last week here. Now, all the ones in dark green is basically, again, the currency pairs that has moved upwards, where the yellow one is the one that are moving downwards, so compared to where they were last week. So if you look at Aussie Japanese, the two, it was in the top position last week. It has now moved around, and this is just another indication to help you out exactly where you are week by week. So the US 32 in here has basically cashed in, and is cashed in all 4 weeks. Pretty good sum again, as with all the indexes here. They seem to do extremely well when everything goes their way, $2,558 or more than 25%. That is simply astonishing, again, over just the 4-week period. And as you can see here, it ranges everything from 400 up to more than 1,200. Definitely something that has been going very, very well. Now, if we have a look at the Aussie Japanese, which was on top here, as we mentioned last week, it has done quite well, and then it has basically taken the air out of the balloon here, only $17 in week 15, which is obviously not very much. But again, this is the nature of the profit retriever. It comes in waves, and then it cashes in big time, similar to what you just saw on the US 30. But it's nothing to be too scared about. I mean, it made $1,422 or more than 14%. For that particular week, so excellent. Euro New Zealand is one that normally cashes in and has been extremely stable over time, and we can now see that this is the first time it's actually gone into a longer drawdown, so we got no money back from week 15, but still the other 3 weeks are still making sure that we are getting more than 10%, so $1,269 or 12.69%, still extremely good for a 4-week period. Euro Japanese is the other one. Both of these signals we have made a couple of videos on. They were very stable. It's looking very good. And then again, things happen. But they also here cashing in 1,239 for those 4 weeks or 12.4%. The other US 30, which is in here, and this one here has played tricks on us from time to time. It is cashing in similar to what you see the other one here. Doing more than 1,000 sometimes on the week, and then it has been in a drawdown here. It basically ended up in the wrong direction, but still it made $1,157 for the 4 weeks or 11.57%, and is still part of the top 5. Down in number 6, Aussie USD. Also here it's cashing in every single week, as you can see, but it's also down for week 15, like pretty much all the EAs. And then it made more than $1,000, so still more than 10% for that last 4 weeks, which is good news. USD, Swiss francs, is normally one that also cashes in quite a lot. And you can see here it's going from 600 down to 13, up to 137, and then down to $9 again. But overall, still comes in $847, 8.48%, and definitely still good results, especially when you consider the markets and the rest of the EAs at the moment. Then we have the FTSE that we showed you before is now in the top of the top 5 here. Again, that has been in a drawdown recently in the last couple of weeks. And then in week 14 and 15, it's doing quite well, made $813 or more than 8% also here. So again, it doesn't take more than a couple of weeks and it's cashing in quite well. British pounds, Japanese, Also here is doing quite well on some of the weeks, and that has now gone into a drawdown also here. And this is one of the ones that are currently a bit in limbo, but still for the last 4 weeks, more than $800 or more than 8%. So also great results from here. Aussie USD, the last one, is cashing in every single week. And even though these are low numbers, still $687 or more than 6.8%. So also great stuff here. We can see that the week by week, the profits has basically been going down. Normally we see a lot more roller coaster on these particular ones, and you can see if you would have taken all the 10 for the week, you would have made $1,317 or 1.32%, which is extremely low compared to what we normally see and what we had for more than a year. Total sum overall, if we look at the last 4 weeks, so it means that if you would have copied our signals, if you would have gone in and done that, you would have ended up with $11,890 or 11.89% for those top 10 results. Now, we mentioned a lot of times that we have more than 20 EAs running in our portfolio. We have even more in the background. Not all of them are necessarily on there at all times. And then we're adding new ones in, taking other ones out if we don't think we can get them to work, if they're not producing high enough profits. And that's why we again put out the top 5, just to see if we can encourage you to try and have some particular focus on these top 5 signals, because instead of spending money on 10 accounts, you can maybe use the top 5 here. And that would have given you obviously a different results, a bit lower profit, $7,647, but percentage wise, you would have made more than 15% on those 4 weeks. So even though that the markets and the Profit Retriever is not cashing in a heck of a lot at the moment, it is still very good numbers, and we are obviously happy with these. We are waiting for the next weeks to get the Profit Retriever back online again and getting most of the EAs to produce what they normally do. So as you can see, despite the drawdowns, despite the lower profit that we find ourselves with at the moment here, the Profit Retriever is still cashing in. Obviously, if you look at this on a daily basis, if you look at it just on a weekly basis, it can be extremely frustrating. So to see some of those numbers, especially obviously if you have the wrong signals in place, and that's what this video is all about, trying to give you a bit of a bigger picture where you don't necessarily shop around every week, you know, for the highest ones, but you basically step back a bit. You have a look at the signals to see which ones are the best ones, which are the one that continues to perform well. And even though they might go in a drawdown for a week or two, you know the mathematical certainty that they will come back and do the same thing as they've been doing for the last year. Obviously, there is no guarantees in this because this is the Forex market, and it always gives us a bit of a curveball. Basically, from one time you think everything is going fine, and you end up with this particular drawdowns here at the moment. But I'm sure things will rectify itself again. We will see which ones are coming out the best on top. But I hope I have given you a bit of information and detail of the last 4 weeks, what you have seen. And obviously, we are always happy also to hear about your trading results, how you are looking at the data that we are providing you here. Are you using it? Do you find this sort of helpful for what you are wanting to achieve, so in your Forex trading? So happy to always hear from your comments, and I hope to see you on next week's series. Bye-bye.